In this demo, I'm going to show you the Apigee Developer Portal solution. If you recall the previous demo, which I showed you the concept of API products, developer, and apps, this can be seen as an extension of that because in addition to allowing the Apigee administrators to create the apps on behalf of the actual API consumer, the developer portal encourage the self-service manner. There are three options of developer portals, the developments in Apigee. The first one is called Apigee Integrated Developer Portal. As you can see, the documentation over here, it does mention that have a self-service lightweight capability. The second option, it's called built on top of Drupal module. So Drupal is one of the very popular content management system. It has some out-of-the-box capability like discussion forums, built-in CMS to change the layouts, change the language, the theme, and so on. Of course, in case of none of this is suitable for you, you can decide to do it yourself, a DIY solutions by consuming Apigee REST Management API. So you can definitely browse through more details below, and the following table illustrate to you what are the out-of-the-box capability that either integrated or Drupal portal will be able to meet your requirements and which one will make more sense at which one. For this purpose of demonstration, for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to show you the integrated portal experience. To get started, I want to go back to the Apigee console and navigate to Portals under the distribution menu. You can create the developer portal. You can, in fact, create up to 10 developer portal per Apigee organization by clicking this Create button and then enter a name as well as the description of the portal. So I'm going to leverage an existing portal that I created earlier. This portal is called a demo portal. Now, there are a couple of things that you can do with the integrated developer portal. First of all, you could definitely make some changes on the theme. You could upload the logo of the portal. You can also change the primary and secondary color so that it does make more sense and tally to your company theme. You can also upload additional assets in terms of pictures and so on and so forth, and later on embed it to your portal. You could also see that we have created some of the page already, and in case you need to, you can create additional page. In this example, I'm going to create this page, giving it a name, defining a path, and then I can also edit on existing page. I'm going to click edit on the page, and this is based on the markdown language. And like I mentioned earlier, you can associate some of the assets which you upload and then upgrade, edit over here, and before eventually click the publish. There's also a menu, there's also an option for you to modify the menu so that eventually how it is going to be organized on the header or in the footer and so on. Another important aspect of integrated portal is the API catalog. So if you recall, this is related to the API products in the previous video. You could create an API catalogs by navigating which particular API product that makes sense to the one that you want to publish into the portal. And then you upload an open API specifications, and the open API specifications eventually will be used by the Apigee engine to parse into a documentation. Of course, you can choose the visibility of the user itself. So you can also look at the accounts and see if you would like to leverage an out-of-the-box identity provider options within Apigee, or you can also choose to go with the SAML should you have some of the third-party identity provider. So once you have modified successfully all the settings that I mentioned earlier, you can click on the live portal. And this is how eventually it looks like after some modifications of uploading the background photo, uploading the logo. It has some getting started screens. If I can click on the getting started, as mentioned earlier, you can modify the markdowns for this. I can also click the API. So this is the list of API catalog that I plan to publish. Of course, you can perform the filtration based on specific category. Now, once I click one of the portal, let's say the example of the logistic portal, now you notice that this um, layout as well as the documentation is out of the box automatically generated by Apigee with the open API specification that you uploaded, and I mentioned to you earlier on. Now, in order to play around and do some testing, which you can definitely do so on the right-hand side, you typically want to create an app first. If you recall earlier, the admin can create a app on behalf of you, or you can also create a new app by yourself. This is in a self-service manner where you define your app's name, you define your descriptions, and then choose which API would you like to be able to access. So I've got the app that I created earlier already, and I call it Valley Android App 1. So if I want to test the API, let's say I navigate to the shopping API, and let's try this get orders. What I need to do is click authorize and choose the app that I created earlier. I need to make sure that my Android app do have the access subscribing to the shopping order apps, right? And I did so. So I'm going to click OK and start to click execute, and you can see that some of the example payload is being generated. Now, if I were to expand this menu, you can see that over here we have some of the example code generated out of the box for you, so that it will help different programming language that your application developer would like to use, and copy that sample code within their own environment before start to test your API. So that's pretty much all for the Apigee Integrate portal. I hope that was useful.